We often underestimate the power of a simple no, but saying no is one of the most vital forms of self-care. In a world that glorifies being busy and accommodating, the ability to say no is often overlooked, despite its profound impact on mental and emotional well-being. Boundaries serve as a protective force, shielding us from burnout and allowing us to prioritize what truly matters. Saying no is more than just declining a request. It's an empowering act of self-respect that reinforces our personal limits. By setting boundaries, we reclaim control over our time and energy, ensuring that we focus on what nurtures us, rather than what depletes us. Embracing the art of saying no is an essential step toward living a more balanced and fulfilling life. The pressure to say yes, why we struggle with boundaries. Many of us find it difficult to say no due to societal pressures, fear of rejection, and a deep-seated desire for approval. Society often teaches us that being agreeable and always saying yes is a sign of reliability and kindness. This conditioning makes us equate saying no with selfishness, which leads to feelings of guilt and anxiety. We fear that by refusing requests, we will disappoint others or damage relationships. As a result, we end up overcommitting ourselves to avoid conflict and to gain acceptance. The consequences of this overcommitment are serious. Constantly saying yes leads to burnout, emotional exhaustion, and a diminished capacity to care for ourselves. Over time, the toll of trying to meet everyone else's demands results in compromised well-being, strained relationships, and feelings of resentment. By recognizing the pressure to say yes, we can begin to challenge the false belief that our worth is tied to how much we give to others and start prioritizing our own needs. Saying no as self-care. Reclaiming your time and energy. Saying no is one of the most powerful forms of self-care because it allows us to reclaim our time, energy, and well-being. Setting boundaries through saying no is essential for protecting our mental, emotional, and physical health. When we say no, we create space for activities and relationships that truly matter to us, rather than stretching ourselves thin across obligations that drain us. This intentional choice to say no is a clear statement of self-respect and a way to align our actions with our personal values. By prioritizing our needs and saying no to tasks or requests that don't serve us, we reduce stress and avoid the overwhelm that often accompanies overcommitment. Saying no helps prevent the emotional and physical exhaustion that leads to burnout. Instead of feeling guilty for turning down opportunities, we should recognize that these refusals are acts of self-preservation. They enable us to maintain our energy for the things that truly contribute to our personal growth, happiness, and fulfillment. For example, saying no to unnecessary work commitments might free up time to focus on personal development, meaningful relationships, or hobbies that nourish us. By focusing on what matters most, we foster deeper connections and live a more intentional, fulfilling life. In this way, saying no is not about rejecting others, but about saying yes to ourselves and the things that truly enhance our well-being. The benefits of saying no. Building a healthier life. Saying no isn't just about protecting your time. It's also a powerful way to improve your relationships and overall well-being. When you establish clear boundaries, you foster mutual respect with others. By communicating your limits effectively, you reduce feelings of resentment and frustration that often arise when you overextend yourself. Healthy boundaries enable others to understand your needs, which in turn strengthens trust and connection. In addition to improving relationships, saying no enhances your productivity and focus. When you eliminate unnecessary distractions and prioritize the tasks that align with your goals, you create space for meaningful work. This allows you to devote more energy to the things that truly matter, resulting in higher satisfaction and a sense of accomplishment. Perhaps most importantly, saying no gives you a greater sense of control over your life. It empowers you to live in alignment with your values and intentions, ensuring that your actions reflect your true priorities. By setting boundaries, you create a life that is more intentional, authentic, and fulfilling. In this way, saying no becomes a tool for building a healthier, happier life. How to say no effectively. Saying no effectively requires confidence, clarity, and practice. One practical strategy is to communicate your refusal with confidence by being clear and direct. For example, using statements like, "I'm currently overcommitted and I cannot take this on," helps convey your limits without ambiguity. Confidence in your no also makes it easier for others to accept and respect your boundaries. Using I statements is another effective approach to softening your refusal. By focusing on your needs rather than the other person's request, you can avoid creating tension. For example, instead of saying, "I can't help you," you could say, "I need to prioritize my own commitments right now." This keeps the conversation centered on your personal capacity rather than placing blame. Offering alternatives can also help maintain relationships while still honoring your boundaries. For instance, if you can't meet a request, you might suggest a later time or a different way to assist. By doing so, you remain supportive while protecting your time and energy. These strategies allow you to say no with grace and preserve both your well-being and your relationships. Overcoming guilt and fear of saying no. The emotions of guilt and fear often accompany the act of saying no, as we worry about disappointing others or being perceived as selfish. However, these feelings are rooted in the misconception that prioritizing our needs is wrong. In reality, saying no is a necessary act of self-care and self-respect. To overcome this guilt, it's important to reframe your perspective. Instead of viewing no as a rejection of others, see it as a positive affirmation of your own well-being. By protecting your time and energy, you're actually enhancing your ability to contribute meaningfully to the people and activities that matter most. Letting go of the fear of disapproval allows you to focus on what truly nourishes you, and that's the ultimate act of self-care, the long-term impact of setting boundaries. Saying no consistently leads to long-term benefits that transform both your mental and physical health. By setting boundaries, you prevent burnout, reduce stress, and cultivate a life that aligns with your true values. Over time, this intentional living fosters better mental health, as you are no longer overwhelmed by excessive obligations and external pressures. The long-term impact of saying no also extends to your productivity and relationships. With clearer boundaries, you can focus more effectively on your personal and professional goals, leading to greater satisfaction and success. Furthermore, your relationships improve as mutual respect grows, allowing for healthier, more fulfilling connections. Setting boundaries isn't just a short-term strategy, it's a long-term commitment to living a more balanced, intentional, and rewarding life. Start practicing today, whether by setting small boundaries or making bigger changes in how you manage your commitments. Remember, every time you say no to something that drains you, you're saying yes to something that nourishes you. Take control of your well-being and live a life that prioritizes your needs, passions, and happiness. Like, comment, and subscribe to learn more about living your best life with clear boundaries and empowered choices.